Yeah, coconut water, man. This thing is great for your health. Now, I bought this coconut in. My eyes are watery. I think I'm to go wash it with some salt water. No, I'm coming from St. Elizabeth, right? So let me just say that. Got this coconut from St. Elizabeth. And St. Elizabeth is in devastation. Mm. I didn't even go into Black River. It's funny how I hear some rumors that some people are saying that Jamaica never went through much. They're delusional. Yeah, so I went to drop off some supplies today, me and a crew, and we left it at a church that will be used as a distribution point. That church was not devastated. They had trees and stuff torn down. Everything around them were torn down. Well, I don't know. I don't know how they survived it. Everything around them was just shredded. The countryside was like all the trees were drying. Dried or drying mean they must have been dead from last week Tuesday. All right, so I took this coconut up from the churchyard because they had a bunch of coconuts on the ground, some of the biggest coconuts I've ever seen, and thought I'd bring this home to drink while I tell you what's going on. It's not pretty. I went to Nightingale Grove. In fact, we drove to this place called Louisville, and the place is I can't even say crushed. I want to say shredded. The place mash up. The place mash up. The place mash up. Louisville is it's like it's like a category 5 hurricane passed through. Like even the school, normally schools are like centers, like places that mosquitoes, man. They're places that you can, like, emergency shelters. That's the thing I'm thinking of, right? The I don't know how it was. It could be an emergency shelter because it got devastated, man. I really don't know. And then we went from Louisville. I went Nightingale Grove, and it's not pretty. Like Nightingale Grove, like I'm just looking around, and I took some photos, and I was like, can I even take any more photos? Like, it's like people need to see this, but I'm like, you have to see it for yourself. Like, mosquitoes, man. This hurricane just caused them to breed up. Anyway, um, ooh, and then the friends I had there, cause I know people from all over the island, right? So it was a family, and it's a family. It's a respected family, and they are very close, and they sing incredibly well, and it was just not nice seeing them vulnerable, but I was happy to see them, and I was happy to be a part of a crew that could help, you know, and to see other brothers and sisters who were among it, that we knew each other, and we're like, yeah, it was good to be able to help. But people need to understand that what St. Elizabeth went through is unlike, it's like a precedence, if you want to call it. It is it is something that has never been experienced before, like this level. I know Black River is one of the worst, based on what I saw on TV, and just um somebody's burning something in the night. Like, based on the magnitude of damage I'm seeing, it's like they should just scrape up all the debris, remove it, and just rebuild everything that's damaged. Like some things just can't be repaired based on the level of damage I've seen. But I will go back to Nightingale Grove, and man, I just couldn't believe the amount of devastation. What I did observe was something I've consistently observed throughout St. Elizabeth from, and the thing is, we weren't able to drive through St. Elizabeth. So normally when, not St. Elizabeth, drive through Santa Cruz, because my normal journeys is when I'm going, I just drive through Santa Cruz, or I just the town, and it's a nice little vibe with the town. So we always, I try and avoid the KFC because it's one of the worst in Jamaica, the worst in Jamaica. And but we'll drive right through, and then we avoid the mothers, which is our backup, and go to the juicy. I think the juicy probably closed down, but we'll go to the juicy, and nice good vibes in the town. You buy a juicy, and you're on the street side, just chilling, and getting ready to go where you're going. And your friends say, yeah, you know, yeah, everybody has a patty and the juice and whatever, and we load up the bus and then we keep going. Nice vibe. Of course, in the evenings we take the bypass and cut out the town because of traffic. But this time it was such a huge pile up going down the road. We didn't even touch Santa Cruz. Almost finished. Oh, some more still in there. And we couldn't even go on the bypass. Started on the bypass and realized it was jammed up, and then just went back on the road. Drove past it, shredded, man. Like, like seeing the boarding, I think may have been UWI people, off campus UWI people at States doing their laundry and just looking on the fence that the hurricane just rooted up the metal fence and the concrete that was holding it in the earth, and just seeing what's going on. The road, I mean, I know the worst was Thursday because some of the people who were in my crew went down Thursday and Saturday as well, and they knew when the mud was on the road and couldn't go through, and we ended up having to. We couldn't even drive straight through the town. When we reached the crossroads, that main crossroads that leads to Jerusalem housing scheme, we had to turn left there, and we went up through some place. Man, I never knew we could. Normally we go further down and go into Jerusalem housing scheme, and we'd go like near Grace Baptist and just play football and stuff like that. But this time around, we drove through some areas I never knew and cut out some of the traffic because that's where police sent us. We couldn't drive straight through the town, and it was crazy. I mean, seeing roofs made of shingles stay intact, I just confirmed what I have always said, that shingles are always superior roofs and they will withstand hurricanes. And this look like it might have a nice jelly. I got this in Cheltenham, a place called Cheltenham. Yeah. It's a small coconut, but gave me some nice juice. Saw it and I was like, if I just had a knife. Sure. Anyway, and Cheltenham being where we put the supplies, and that will be the distribution point. It's actually between Newmarket and Middle Quarters, and in fact Middle Quarters is, anyway, let me backtrack a bit. This eye's hurting me. I need some salt water on it. I think it's probably a sty coming up, but anyway, that's a story for another day. Going through Santa Cruz took so long. I mean, it took so long. And then when we came out back into Santa Cruz, because there are some roads that you can use to cut out traffic that lead back into Santa Cruz, like sort of bypass-ish type roads. It was crazy. And then the traffic I passed going into Santa Cruz coming from St. Elizabeth was crazy. It's like, this is what we're going to have to go through, and then I found myself looking at all these roofs. I'm like, how the hell is it that um all these shingle roofs are intact for the entire journey and people are still using zinc? Now, mind you, shingles are more expensive, but trust me, they seem to hold so solidly. And in fact, there are a lot of roofs that have what I call fake shingles, which is just really zinc, but with a shingles design, shingles pattern. Use the shingles, guys. Use the shingles. Use shingles. Use shingle roofs. Interlock the parts. Lock them. Lock them. Lock them properly. Use shingle roofs. Shingle tiles. Lock them properly. The roof will not come off. It will not come off. It will not. I've seen it. Category 5. Pass through St. Elizabeth. Shingle roofs intact. Intact. Even the fake ones, which I think is just because they're new. When I say fake again, as I said, it's just zinc in a shingles pattern. The shingles, the real shingle roofs. I can stay from the road. I'm in the bus and I see it and I'm like, yeah, real shingles, intact. Most of the houses have no roofs. Most of the houses have no zero roofs. Most of the houses have zero roofs. When I say zero, meaning it's not like the living room has a roof and the rest of the house doesn't. Zero. Like the roadside that should be littered with grass is littered with roofs all over. That's how crazy it is. It is not nice. Got through Santa Cruz, went to Holland Bamboo. Was expecting to see the road littered with bamboo, as I saw in a video that I think it was not being circulated nationwide, but in my group I got to see it. And of course, hearing all the different stories, we were very careful because we knew persons were being robbed. But it's mosquitoes, man. It would have been very difficult to rob us, I can tell you, because we were in a pileup in Holland Bamboo for so long. There was some debris in the road and it was being cleared. And next thing I will say, Jamaica has some of the most indisciplined drivers. These people are so idiotic. They don't know what's going on up the road and they're overtaking a line of traffic to go down into where the problem is. Where's my Shaki? They're trying to go where the problem is in order to cause a bigger problem, because they are going to take up space in the road when there's construction equipment, oftentimes trying to clear certain areas, and there are already two lines of traffic, the one that you're in, that I'm in, and the one that's coming in the opposite direction, and then an idiot, which is those people trying to overtake the line, causes 3 lanes. It's 2 lanes on the road and you're trying to make it 3 lanes. Anyway, when we actually get to where we could say we're moving, we realized they were still cutting, volunteers were there cutting trees and bamboos that were coming out in the road, and all these people had to do was just wait and it would just filter down. But they kept going, passing the whole line of us. 3 or 4 would pass and then another 3 or 4, and we're like, yeah. Anyway, what was strange was as I drove through a Holland Bamboo and I looked to my left, there's a place where some cows were there's normally cows over there, but it's like it's like all right, it's cow pastures, but it was actually today it was actually a lake surrounded by a cow pasture. However, what I found strange was when I got to a point just beyond where they were doing the cutting, I saw an intersection that leads over to those cow pens, those farms, and persons were being diverted there, coming from St Elizabeth, well, from deeper from Black River side. They were piled up over the bush side for the entire stretch of Holland bamboo. If you didn't have a good eye, you wouldn't see it. I have some videos but it was like the entire stretch of Holland bamboo. Persons were over in the bush on some intervals near the cow pen.